So we know that the job of the enzyme is to convert a substrate into a product. And at the end of the reaction, of course, you will get back the enzyme. The two mechanisms that you should know is the lock and key mechanism and the induced fit hypothesis. So we're going to start with lock and key. So in this method, right, not method, in this mechanism, as the name of it suggests, lock and key. So if you think of the enzyme, so in this one, the enzyme is the lock. All right. So let us say this is a lock. All right. So if we have different types of keys, let us say this is a key, this is a key, and then a key looking like that. So if these are all keys, then you can, this would be the keyhole. And of these three keys, number 1, number 2, and number 3, we know that key number 2 would be the one to fit inside of it. All right. So the keyhole is specific for a particular key. Not any key will fit into the keyhole of a lock. All right. So in the lock and key mechanism, the enzyme is the lock. All right. So in this mechanism, the lock is the enzyme. And the keys would be the substrate. And the keyhole, it would have been the active site. So what this is showing you is that the enzyme is specific for a certain substrate. So not every substrate molecule will fit into the active site of your enzyme. All right, so let's do a little writing. Right. I'm going to erase this part. I need this. No, you don't have to remember this word for word. If you can remember that the enzyme is the lock, the keyhole is the active site, and the key is the substrate, you can put it in your own words. I'm going to clear the screen in a couple seconds or in a minute. All right, so let's use a diagram to represent this equation up here. All right, if you were not finished writing, just take a screenshot. All right, so I'm allowing you to take a screenshot and then I erase it. All right. All right, so let us say this is our enzyme. It will react with our substrate. All right, so if this is the enzyme, this part here, it would be the active site. And so the substrate must have a shape to fit the active site. So this is our substrate. When the enzyme binds with the substrate, it forms a complex called the enzyme substrate complex. We're going to get an intermediate. All right, so this is the enzyme substrate complex. So this is how the enzyme it actually works. So it binds with the substrate to form the enzyme substrate complex. So this is where it actually works on the substrate and convert it into a product. The product will have a different shape from the substrate. So once this substrate is converted into a product, it is released. And so at the end of the process or at the end of the reaction, what you will have is your enzyme and the product. I'm just going to use a different shape for the product. Right? You have enzyme and product. And so this same enzyme again now, if it was a reaction being carried out, this same enzyme could work on a next substrate again. Of course, it has to be the same substrate, but a different molecule. You have your enzyme, it binds to the substrate, you get your enzyme substrate complex. The enzyme converts the substrate into your product. All right, so that is how the enzyme catalyzes the reaction.